Okay. The intention of this filming is to bring awareness and teachings of consciousness and to support and help raise consciousness for humanity. The first topic I want to touch on is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is the understanding and the knowing of who we really are. It's the pursuit of awareness and evolving as a spiritual being. Consciousness is something that at the deepest level of our being, we are all truly seeking to discover and know who we really are. It's just that along the journey of being in a human body, we have experiences that disconnect us from the experience of our deepest connection with ourselves. And the pursuit of consciousness, it's like a handful of people, and it just continues to expand and get more and more and more, so that now we experience consciousness on television. We see commercials, we see programs where they're talking about eating properly, bringing more awareness into your life. So yoga, meditation, these are all aspects of people seeking awareness and consciousness. For me, the absolute consciousness means to be enlightened or to be fully realized or fully awake. In my perception of what that really is to be in a state of being where we are not attached to negative thoughts, we are not judging others, there is a sense of oneness, there's a feeling of compassion for everyone. And the sense of enlightenment really is about being free of all the misperceptions and the projections of our own misinterpreted conclusions about life that we project onto others. It's like being free to fully express who I am as an individual, who you are as an individual, who all of us are is our own individual being self. And what gets in the way is the beliefs and the programming and the feelings and the conclusions that we drew about life based on how we interpreted the behaviors of our primary caretakers and our teachers and our friends and our siblings and family. So partly what happens is we come into the world in the sense of being the light beings that we are, okay? So just imagine that before we come in, we are in a state of oneness, we are in a state of connection with love, there is no feeling of separation. And when we enter into the physical form, then we come into like a dense energy, and as soon as we hit dense energy, we sense and feel that, and then we begin to identify ourselves as a part of this dense energy, which is physical form. And we interpret that experience as well as feeling whatever is happening for our mother, and because we are only aware of our own self, our own essence, our own awareness, we interpret everything as being directly connected to ourselves, and then that we are the cause of, and that everything that occurs, it is about us. So we come into the world, we come into the physical form, and then whatever we are experiencing with our mother, however we're interpreting and concluding whatever she holds inside of her, we take it as though it is always about ourselves. So even in the womb, we can begin to close ourselves down from our true essence, from the essence and feeling that our who we really are is love itself. So just imagine coming in, and I've got like this perfectly clear, crystal clear glass. So when we come in, just imagine that we come in with purity, with clarity. We come in untainted with anything other than just our own light. So if our mother has had a really difficult life, perhaps in her childhood there was a lot of abuse or alcoholism or parents that left or went away, there's going to be emotional baggage that she carries with her that is still lodged in her body unless she's done some healing and clearing. So her thoughts and her feelings, we are going to feel them. And if our mother is afraid or nervous or apprehensive about being able to care for a baby for any reason whatsoever, it doesn't matter, we will feel that. And oftentimes, a parent may not even want a child, so even the thoughts and feelings of not wanting this baby, we feel that, and we interpret that as it's about me, it's all about me, there must be something wrong with me. Now remember, we're not thinking these thoughts. It's these emotional conclusions that we draw really, really early in life. So in the womb, if our mom is feeling like she wants to get rid of the baby, or maybe she's having difficulty in her relationship with our dad, or maybe dad's gone, or maybe she has to work and she's concerned about survival, all of these feelings make her nervous or apprehensive, and those feelings get downloaded or interpreted into our own psyche. So as soon as we begin to feel that who we are is not enough, who we are is unlovable, who we are is there's something innately wrong with us, that we are bad, then we begin to cloud the energy with layers of closing down the heart. You know, it's like we literally begin to close down, we contract and pull our energy in. And over time, we collect more and more and more evidence that there must be something wrong with us. Now keep in mind that when this is free, there's a free flow of energy that moves through our body, or through our, through the physical form that we have taken on. And there is nothing impeding the flow of energy. So the energy flows freely. And when the energy is flowing freely, we are connected to our essence. We are connected to love, which is the core of who we are. It is the essence of who we are, love. And as soon as we begin to draw conclusions about our experiences, we begin to block that flow of love. We begin to block our own connection with ourselves. So let's say that even during the birthing, that our mother had a long labor, so we're in the birth canal, and we're experiencing being squeezed down and lots of trauma. So even that can feel like it's painful to be here, it's not safe to be here, we don't want to be here, so we collect even more reason to protect our light. We got to protect that light so we don't have to feel the discomfort of the pain of what it feels like to feel unloved. The feeling of love is always within ourselves. It isn't outside of ourselves. When we feel love for someone else, we're feeling it within. And when we begin to close down, then we lose our connection with our own sense of love and our own sense of self. And over time, pretty soon, this gets filled with evidence and more emotional pain that keeps us separate from the divine light, the divine consciousness that we are connected to, and the love that we truly are. So as an infant, let's just say that as an infant, we have needs, and we get hungry, and when our dirty diapers are dirty, we need to be changed because it can be really uncomfortable. Well, if these needs aren't met in a timely manner, we can conclude that, there must be something wrong with me, so I have to protect and hide who I am. So if I can hide myself enough, then I won't be hurt any longer. If I can hide that part of me, that most precious part of me, then no one can hurt me. No one can cause me pain. What we don't realize is that as soon as we disconnect from our essence, we lose our connection with self, and then we have to begin to look for connection externally. And this is where the attachment begins to occur with other people, and not just people, but material objects. And when we're young and exploring, that stage where we're in our terrible twos and we're really curious about life and awe of everything, And our parents, for them, it's like, it's very difficult because we're into everything and we want to touch everything, we want to taste everything, we want to feel everything. So as we're exploring and we're taught, no, 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 you can't do that, no, that's wrong, no, that's bad, no, that's dangerous, then we learn to shut down even more of our own self, and we find ourselves getting more and more disconnected. So we still have light coming through, we can still feel love, and as life goes on, we get a little bit older, there's more and more reasons why we find ourselves getting in trouble and learning that who we are is ultimately bad. So every time we interpret our parents not loving us because maybe they get angry, maybe they've come home from work and they've had a really hard day and they're short-tempered and they don't have the patience, then we feel that and we take it personally and we collect more and more evidence why we have to hide who we really are. And ultimately, by the time we're about between 5 and 7, the complete disconnect has occurred. There will be something that happens in our lives that creates some kind of trauma where we have completely disconnected from ourselves, and now our entire life is looking externally to know that I'm okay, to realize that I'm lovable. So I begin to look for all the evidence that tells me that who I am is acceptable, that I'm good enough, that I'm loved. And with all the evidence I continue to collect, over time, what I've done is I've created complete energy blocks in my body, in my physical body, that actually become dark energy in the body. It's more like an energy. So emotions, when they're not felt, they become like a dense energy. And we keep pushing them down and pushing them down, so we create more density and more density. And over time, these energies literally can cause disease in the body, such as cancer, heart attacks, strokes, things of that nature. We associate that with something physically happening in the body. And ultimately, as we unravel and heal the emotional body, I discovered and find that even illnesses and disease can be reversed and turned around, and people are free of disease. So the energy, even though it's emotional, it becomes very tangible, it becomes very dense, it becomes very dark, and it literally causes blocks in the physical body. And as we get older, so once we've had all the setup and the beliefs that who we are is unlovable, and we've created the disconnection from ourselves, from that point forward, all we're doing is collecting more and more evidence throughout our lives, believing that I can't trust anyone, I'll never be loved, no one will ever know me, no one sees who I am, no one understands me, and we make it about everybody outside of ourselves rather than understanding that what we're really doing is we're trying to unravel what we have created. And what I mean by that is once the setup happens, once we've disconnected from our own essence and that sense of love, then it's the pursuit to unravel that, to reconnect with ourselves, that we can live our lives in a state of freedom, what I call enlightenment, to be free. That means we are connected to the love within, we are connected to ourselves, and we are being ourselves in every moment. We are free to express whoever we are as an individual in this lifetime, in our own essence, and sharing the gift of who we are. So, as we have created these blocks inside, what we really don't understand is that every time something happens in our life, we see it as another experience of being victimized, or that we don't get to have what we want in life, or that our desires and our hopes and dreams aren't ever fulfilled. And what's really happening is what we're doing is we're drawing to us opportunities to unravel and heal the past. So let's just say that a child in school has a friend and they're really good friends, but something happens and their friend betrays them and doesn't want to play with them anymore. So that causes a feeling of hurt. So the child comes home and tells mom, my best friend doesn't want to play with me anymore. She doesn't like me anymore. What's really happening is that the feeling that she's feeling is already lodged in the body because she's already experienced that sensation with her own mother or her own father or someone very close to her in her life. And that's one of the layers of protection that she has gathered and collected as evidence why she isn't good enough. And so what's happening is her little friend, she literally co-created an opportunity to unravel the feeling from the past. Now, if she had teachings and knew the understandings of consciousness and higher consciousness and what we're really doing here, she would understand that, oh, my friend made me feel like I wasn't wanted and I felt abandoned and I felt betrayed. So that's a feeling inside of me that already lives inside of me, and here's the opportunity for me to unravel that feeling and clear out some of the pain that I've been holding on to, where I've been protecting who I am and protecting myself from further pain. But unfortunately what happens is we don't have those teachings. We don't learn that in school. We don't learn that in our families. So we collect another evidence that, oh, who I am is unlovable, I'm not good enough, my friend doesn't like me, my friends betrayed me, so I got to put up more protection, put up more walls, and hide more of who I am in order to be loved. So you can see the layering continues. So then when we get into high school and we have our first love of our lives, you know, we really open and there's a feeling where we really feel free, we feel connected. So there is an opening that occurs when we experience this joy and this connection. But then what begins to happen is we are looking to this other person to know that I'm okay. So we begin to create these attachments and they become enmeshed attachments. So it becomes more of an enmeshing and a codependence, and I'm looking to my new partner to validate who I am and to let me know that I'm lovable. So as soon as my partner does something that I interpret as unlovable, let's just say, for example, as teenagers, you know, we go out on dates, and then sometimes our partner wants to go out and be with his friend or his friends, and so let's say he goes out with his friends and leaves his home, doesn't call. Well, then we're creating all these illusions in our minds of what's happening, why he didn't call, he must not love me, he must not like me, he must not care about me. And it's all connected to the core feeling of what we've already created. So we're creating these mind illusions around non-reality. And so by the time he does call the next day, we're already upset and we're already angry. And so we cause a rift between us and perhaps a fight. And then what happens is maybe he ends up, you know, we end up breaking up. And so now I have more evidence to prove to me that I can't trust love, I can't trust anyone. I have to continue to protect myself and hide who I am. And maybe at some point I really do make a conscious choice where I remember the feeling or the thought that I'm never going to let anyone in. I'm never going to let anyone really know me again. I'm never going to let anyone ever see who I really am. I'm going to hide myself. Because if I hide myself, then no one can ever hurt me again.